Good day everyone, and welcome to Asian Virtual Conference on Multidisciplinary Research. And here I am John D.Z. Kakapit from Pangasinan State University, and I am here to present our research entitled The Development Orientation of Parliamentary Procedures of the Barangay Officials in Lingayen, Pangasinan. And for the objectives, or for the background rather of the study, the parliamentary procedure is the procedural safeguard that protects the individual and the group in their exercise of right of free speech, free assembly, and freedom to unite organizations for the achievement of common aims. And that is according to Sturgis 2011. Parliamentary procedure defines how a particular situation is to be handled or a particular outcome is achieved in a legislative body. It has a process like conducting meetings and sessions, votes and voting quorum, and having nominations and elections. It helps the local officials to focus on one item at a time. It also allows to discuss not more than one issue. Practicing parliamentary procedure also allows the members to actively participate in said sessions. However, the problem here is some of the barangay officials are not familiar with this parliamentary procedure. The way the barangay officials should act when the parliamentary procedure is going on, and that is stated to the Local Government Code of 1991, Section 50, and that is, the rules of procedure shall provide the following. And mainly, that is the parliamentary procedures which include the conduct of members during sessions. It is right and just that every barangay officials, from the highest ranking to the lowest, should be knowledgeable and skilled enough to practice in conduct of this parliamentary procedure. And this study was conducted in order to know the barangay officials are knowledgeable in conducting parliamentary procedures. It is actually an attempt to assess the knowledge of parliamentary procedures and concepts and the frequency of practice of barangay officials in the proper course of parliamentary procedure. In order to make this research possible, we have identified four main objectives of this study. The first objective is about the profile of the barangay officials in terms of age, sex, civil status, educational attainment, position, years in service, and the number of trainings attended in relation to parliamentary procedure. The second objective is the profile of the sangguniang barangay for the past 3 years in terms of the schedule of session, the number of sessions conducted per year, the number of resolutions approved, and the number of ordinances passed. For the third objective, it is to determine the level of knowledge on parliamentary procedures of the barangay officials in Lingayen, Pangasinan in terms of number one, the application of knowledge, and the second one is the frequency of practice of parliamentary procedure, while the last objective is to identify the different problems encountered by the barangay officials in Lingayen, Pangasinan as the competency on the practice of parliamentary procedure. To make this objective attainable, we have identified different methodologies. For the research design, the researchers use descriptive normative survey in this method. Okay? And for the sampling, the researchers use a purposive sampling. The respondents of this study were identified as the barangay officials, namely the barangay captains, the barangay kagawads, the barangay secretary, and the barangay treasurer. So all in all, there are 10 barangay officials to be identified as the respondents. Out of the 33 barangays in Lingayen, Pangasinan, we have identified at least 10 barangays as the limitation for the study. Okay? These chosen barangays were chosen because they were the top 10 most populated barangay in Lingayen, Pangasinan. As for the data gathering instrument, the researchers use a set of test questions answered by the respondents and a checklist as a means of observation for the data gathering instrument of the study. Okay? For the statistical treatment of data, we have used the percentage, the frequency, and the average weighted mean to identify the different results. Okay? As for the discussion for the part 1, the profile of the respondents, Table 1 shows that out of 99 respondents, 72 or 72% are under the age bracket of 36 to 60 years old, while in Table 1.b, the frequency and percentage of the barangay officials in terms of sex, it states that Out of 99 respondents, 77 or 77% were males and 22 or 22% were females. For Table C in Part 1 of the profile of the respondents, in terms of civil status, it shows that 80 or 80% are married and 2 or 2% are separated. And for Table D, Table 1.D, in terms of educational attainment, it shows that out of 99 respondents, 57 or 57% were college graduate and 1% were elementary graduates. For Table 1.E, in terms of the positions of the barangay officials, we can see here at the table that there are 10 barangay captains, 10 barangay secretaries, 10 barangay treasurers, and 69 barangay kagawad. Those barangay kagawads were supposedly to be 70, but due to unfortunate events, one of them died during the conduct of the research. So we are now under 69 barangay kagawads. Yeah. In Table 1.F, in terms of years and service, it shows here that 46 or 46% have served 1 to 6 years, while 1% have served for 25 to 30 years and 31 to 36 years. For Table 2, for the Part 2 of the discussion, the application of knowledge of barangay officials on parliamentary procedures and theories, it shows here that out of 99 respondents, 44 or 44% garnered a score of 16 to 20 with a descriptive rating of knowledgeable, while 4 or 4% garnered a score of 26 to 30 with a descriptive rating of highly knowledgeable. This table implies that since most of the barangay officials do not have any trainings or seminars attended related to parliamentary procedures, the officials have only a depth knowledge regarding parliamentary procedures in actual experiences during their terms. For Table 3, for the problems encountered by the barangay officials in parliamentary procedures, we can see here at the table that the first ranking problem of barangay officials in terms of this parliamentary procedure, in the practice of parliamentary procedure, is not all the members are attending sessions, meaning no quorums, no active participation among members. And as for the conclusion, here are the different conclusions that were formulated in the conduct of this research. There are 4 conclusions. Number 1 of the conclusion here is majority of the respondents are middle-aged, majority are male, married, and with 1 to 6 years work experience as a barangay official. Number 2 conclusion is most of the barangay council conducts the regular session at the very first week of every month. Third conclusion is barangay officials are not highly knowledgeable in the practice and application of parliamentary procedures despite their years in service being a barangay official. And the fourth one is the main problem being encountered is the non-attendance of some barangay officials during sessions. As for the recommendations formulated by the researchers based on the different conclusions that were found during the conduct of the study, there are also 4 recommendations, and these recommendations is as follows. Number 1, there should be an intended seminar or refresher course for barangay officials regarding the practice and application of parliamentary procedures. The second recommendation is the local government unit should monitor the sangguniang barangay on the proper conduct of barangay sessions as stated in their local government code of 1991. The third recommendation, barangay officials are encouraged to be more proactive during sessions as to hone their skills in the practice and conduct of parliamentary procedures. And for the last recommendation, strict observance on attendance of barangay officials during sessions is highly encouraged. Disciplinary actions in accordance with the local government code of 1991 is highly recommended. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of our presentation, of my presentation. Once again, I am John D.Z. Kakapit from Pangasinan State University, wishing you a good luck and a happy day. Thank you.